If you are looking for the answer to how to find the right mentors for yourself, then in this week's episode of Get Real with Rajiv, I'm going to share with you the 3 R's of selecting the right mentor. Apart from that, in this week's episode, I'm also going to talk to you about how do you deal with the environment in your home, within your family, if your family is not supportive about your business and they're constantly taunting you and pulling you down when you're pursuing your business. I'm also going to answer the question of what should you do if you have a unique idea? How should you protect yourself so that others don't steal it? And lastly, in this week's episode of Get Real with Rajiv, I'm also going to answer the question of how do you remote manage your teams, especially considering the world is going back to work from home in certain parts. How do you remote manage the performance of your team when they're working from home? If you would like answers to all these questions, then tune into episode number 82 of Get Real with Rajiv. And towards the end, I have a special step for you to take as well. So watch the entire episode. Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 82 of Get Real with Rajiv. Like every single week, I'm going to be answering 4 questions, and today Pawan's going to be the voice of your question. So Pawan, what's the first question?
We have Sahitya asking, as a budding entrepreneur, I've had my family bogging me down by not supporting me, whereas they just taunt me at every little hurdle I come across. Sometimes I feel like I spend more time and energy justifying things to them than on my business. How do I break through this barrier and actually concentrate on building my business?
Well, Sahitya, thank you so much for asking such a valid question. I think this is the reality of many entrepreneurs who go against the will of their families and start their business believing in their dreams and in their vision. So, firstly, it's very unfortunate that your family does not see the vision or see the dream that you have. And I understand that when you don't have the love and support of the people who matter the most in your life, that can be pretty draining emotionally as well as mentally for any person. So, firstly, thank you for doing things irrespective of all the disapproval around you, Sahitya. And here are a few suggestions that I have for you. Don't blame them, okay, in your head. Stop blaming them, saying, oh, they don't understand, they don't support. Don't fight them. Don't get into arguments with them. Don't justify to them. Even calmly, don't sit and try to explain things to them because clearly their mind is shut. So don't blame, don't fight, don't justify, because then you're only adding more fuel to the fire. Remember that. So what should you do? Firstly, here's what I want you to do. I want you to understand their hidden concern. You know, our loved ones have a very strange way of expressing their love. They don't know how to express love positively with appreciation, acknowledgement, strength and support. They like to express love through riddles and clues. So when they are upset with you, they are actually concerned about you. So understand what's that hidden concern. Understand what's that deeper concern that is making them disapprove of you taking this path of building your business. It could be that they come from a mindset of job security and they say, you better focus on academics, you better focus on getting a new job, a decent, stable job with a large corporate. So they don't know how to express their hidden concern of, hey Sahitya, we care for you, we don't want you to take too many risks, we want you to have a stable life. They don't know how to express that. So they are doing this through a riddle by actually taunting you, putting you down, putting your business down, telling you you can't do it. So first, understand their hidden concern. Second step, dissociate from their approach. It's a very funny thing in our culture again. Within families, we don't know how to express. We want the other person to understand, but we will blame or get angry or we'll taunt that person and we'll expect that person to understand. So dissociate with their approach. Probably they're poor at communication. They don't know how to communicate effectively. So step 1, understand their hidden concern. Step 2, dissociate yourself. Don't get affected by it. In fact, start looking at them as little children who don't know how to express the language of love. Okay, play this in your head. It's a lot of fun when you play it in your head. So dissociate from their approach. Third, acknowledge their concern. So the next time your folks taunt you, you say, at the end of the day, I know you want me to be happy, right? At the end of the day, I know you want me to be safe. You don't want me to lose money. You don't want me to lose my morale. You don't want me to lose my confidence. I know you want me to be happy. I know you want me to be successful. That's what you want, right? And I know that you're not able to say that to me, and that's why you're taunting me this way so that I stop my business. So firstly, thank you for caring for me. Acknowledge their hidden concern. Typically at this step itself, they'll shake because they don't know how to handle, because you're no longer being provoked by their provocation. Okay, so genuinely acknowledge their hidden concern, genuinely understand that they're coming from an intent to protect, they're coming from an intent to care. It's just that they don't have the capacity and capability to see the vision, see the dream like the way you are seeing it. So acknowledge their concern so they understand that you understand. And when you do that, they actually understand that, hey, she gets it or he gets it, right? Then once you've acknowledged their hidden concern, step number 4, share your feelings. Tell them that it's okay to even break down sometimes in front of a family and say, hey, listen, I know you care, but the approach you use of taunting me or pulling me down or pointing loopholes in my business, it really bogs me down. It doesn't make me feel good. It feels like I'm fighting with my own loved ones. So share your concern, your experience emotionally, and ask them for support. Ask them for strength. Ask them, is there another way we could use? Tell them, I know you want me to be stable. I know you want me to be successful. And for you, stable and success equals getting a job. For me, stability and success in building something of my own. So let me give it a shot. Allow me to fail. Allow me to fall. So at least I can learn lessons. And when I'm failing and falling, instead of taunting me, be there for me. Okay, be there and give me genuine suggestions. Be there and support me. Believe in what I can see. Give me that strength and support. So ask them, and it's completely okay to be bare with your emotions and really ask for what you want in that relationship. When you ask, they get it, right? They get it. They are at the end of the day your own family. So understand their hidden concern, dissociate from their approach, acknowledge their hidden concern, share your feelings and ask for strength and support. These are things that you need to do. And even after doing this, Sahitya, if they don't get it, they don't have the emotional capacity to understand and acknowledge your experience. If they don't get it, don't hate them for it. It's just that understand that God has given them limited emotional quotient to be able to process the emotions that you are feeling. Okay, so don't hate them for it. If they are not willing to give you what you need, then just bless them. Dissociate yourself from whatever they have to say and actually start observing in your life that there are other people who are providing you the same emotional strength that you're expecting from your immediate family. There is that somebody who's giving you that courage that you expect from your father. There is that somebody who's giving you that care that you would probably expect from your mother. There is that somebody who's giving you that support that you would probably expect from your spouse or your partner. There is that somebody in your life who's giving you that sense of strength that you would expect from your siblings. Because nature never fills the void. Nature never leaves a void. It always fills the void. Sometimes we look for love in a certain form from certain people, and we miss looking at those other people who are giving us the same love. So nature is not leaving a void in your life. It could be a friend, it could be a mentor, it could be a business partner, it could be a client who's being there for you, right? And treat them as your soul family. Okay, your blood family is not able to comprehend and give you the compassion that you want and you desire and you deserve, but there is somebody else in the world who's giving you that same level of compassion, strength, support. So acknowledge those people and thank universe, saying that, hey, thank you for giving me these people in my life, instead of sitting and fighting your life as to why are my parents, why is my family not being there for me. Nature never leaves a void. It always fills a void. So look at those people and derive your strength from those people. And all the best, my friend. If you need any support, I'm always here. Reach out to me on Instagram, drop me a message, and I'll be happy to support you in any which way that I can. With that, let's go to the second question for this week. So Pawan, what's the second question?
We have Ronit asking, I have a great idea that has no competition. How can I protect it so that others don't steal my idea?
Well, Ronit, all I will say is get a good intellectual property lawyer to protect, trademark, patent your idea. But having said that, that's the simplest recommendation I've ever given on a Get Real with Rajiv episode. But having said that, Ronit, I want to deal with the mindset. The mindset you have, which is where you are thinking of how can I make sure that nobody steals my idea? Instead of thinking about that, think about how can I execute my idea in a manner where I'm way ahead of the competition. Because the market will always look at an idea and follow it if it is genuinely a great idea, and you will always have people stealing. So my friend Ronit, get your bearings right as an entrepreneur. Instead of focusing on how can I avoid people stealing the idea, focus on how can I have the competitive advantage to stay ahead of the market. And yeah, otherwise, simple answer, go find an intellectual property lawyer. With that, let's go to the third question for the week. So Pawan, what's the third question of the week?
We have Karan asking, we are in a business where we have people working in multiple locations. Holding each of them accountable is a big hassle. I don't know how to measure their work as well. Please guide me on how to handle this.
Well, Karan, what you need is a management system. The reason I'm smiling and saying this so passionately is this is what I do for a living. I teach entrepreneurs how to set up a management system to set goals, track goals, and achieve goals across their business in every single department from every single team member. Now, this system that I teach is called the PACE system. I want to highly recommend that you explore attending the Business PACE program, which is a program I've been doing for more than 4.5 years now. And thousands of entrepreneurs have learned this PACE system and have implemented this system. So in summary, Karan, if I have to tell you what is the real solution to your problem, here's the real solution to your problem. For you to be able to manage people's performance and manage their output and manage their results, you firstly need to have clear goals. So it starts with clarity of goals. Once you have clear goals as a business and for every single department, then you need to go into clear roles. You need to make sure that every person on your team has a clear role document with clear tasks and activities which have been broken down on what they are supposed to do in a step-by-step sequential manner to produce the results in their particular department. So clear goals, then clear roles. And then once you have clarity of roles, then the third step is you need to align people's skills, knowledge, and attitude to their roles. So you need to give a job to a person, you need to give a role to a person who has the required skills, who has the required knowledge, who has the required attitude to execute the tasks of that particular job role. So clarity of goals, clarity of roles, alignment of attitude, skills, and knowledge is your third step. Once you align people's attitude, skill, and knowledge and give the right person the right job, then comes the fourth element, which is clarity of reviews. You need to have clear reviews in your business, and I teach a system under the PACE system called STOP, which is Strategic Tactical Operational Review Meetings. You need a system like STOP to be able to review and remote manage people even if they are working from home. In fact, I haven't come across a more powerful system of reviews than STOP, especially in this pandemic situation where businesses are forced to have their team members work from home. So Karan, my friend, your answer is very, very simple. To learn how to create clarity of goals, clarity of roles, align people with the right attitude, skills, and knowledge to the role, and have a clear review system, you need to learn the PACE system. Drop me a message in my inbox and I'll connect you to my team, and they will make sure that you get the details to register yourself for the upcoming Business PACE program. Make sure you're there, my friend. With that, let's go to the fourth and final question for this week's episode. So Pawan, what's the fourth question?
Thakur says, I saw your hand life training and I really have to thank you for the tremendous value you provided for those 3 hours. Being an entrepreneur, here's my question. When choosing a financial mentor, are there any particular parameters to consider that can act as a checklist for me to choose the right one? I'm asking this because I've burnt my head many times in the past by choosing wannabe know-it-alls.
Well, Thakur, not just a financial mentor, but when you're looking at a mentor in any area of your life, be it for your health, your nutrition, your wealth, your finances, your business, in any area of your life, when you're looking for a mentor, I have 3 rules that I follow while I select a mentor for myself. And I'd be happy to share those 3 rules with you today, Thakur. My first rule when I select a mentor for any area of my life, be it my health, wealth, relationships, or my business, I look for a person who's produced the results in their life for themselves in that area. Which means what? If I am working with a financial mentor, I don't want to work with someone who's just an agent or a broker. I want to work with somebody who's built a personal net worth, who's built a passive income stream for themselves, and has a personal portfolio like the one I'd like to create. So firstly, I look for the results of that person in that area. If I'm working with a fitness coach, I want to work with someone who's fit himself or herself. If I'm working with a nutritionist, I want to work with somebody who does not have 10,000 other disorders herself or himself. I want to work with somebody who's genuinely healthy, right? So you want to identify a mentor by first validating the results they have produced for themselves in that particular area. Otherwise, you will fall into the trap of talking to these know-it-alls who pretend like they've been there and done that, but in all honesty, they are struggling themselves in that particular area of their life. So my first criteria for selecting a mentor is the results of the person. The second criteria for me while selecting a mentor is the resonance with the value system and the school of thought of that person. What does that mean to me? For me, when I'm working with a mentor, I need to resonate with their value system. So like say, for example, if I'm selecting a fitness coach for myself, and if I meet a guy who says, I can make you lose inches in weeks, I would run away from that person. Because for me, I want to work with somebody who looks at fitness as a lifestyle, not somebody who's trying to sell me a get fit quick scheme, right? That's my school of thought. So I don't resonate with people who try to sell quick results. If I'm working with a nutritionist, I want to work with somebody who talks about eating stuff that you love, but eating right. I don't want to talk to somebody who's selling me a westernized philosophy of, oh, go on a high protein diet and don't have rice and don't do this. I'm like, hey, listen, don't sell me the ideas that the American Diet Society is sold to you in your certification. So for me, resonance is very important with the value system. If I'm selecting a finance coach or a financial mentor, I'm looking at somebody who's talking to me about saving and investing as a hygiene and as a habit, not as somebody who's in the game of speculation and gambling and saying, I'll beat the market by this much and I'll get you X kind of returns. I know many of those guys who make good money one time and they use that as a testimonial for their lifetime, but they end up losing money. I want to work with a guy who shows me his path, opens his money control account, shows me his portfolio and tells me how he built it one step at a time, how he's built it through recessionary cycles. I want to work with those kind of people. I don't want to work with guys who are sitting and saying, hey, you can make quick money in the markets. So resonance with your value system. And this is where you need to ask yourself, what is your value system when it comes to that particular area, be it your finances or your health or your business or your relationships, right? So first, their results. Second, resonance with the value system and the school of thought. Third, relevance with what you want to learn. Is that person capable of teaching you what is relevant to you? Not just what they know, but what's relevant to you. Can they create that relevance based on where you are in your life, be it with your finances? See, I don't want to talk to a guy as a financial mentor who's telling me, let's just say I'm at a situation where I have 50,000 rupees a month at my disposal to invest in stock market, to invest in mutual funds. I don't want to talk to a guy who's telling me, hey, listen, only if you have 20 lakhs to invest, then I can work with you. Then not the right mentor, even if he's produced the results, right, for somebody else. So results, resonance, relevance. These are my 3 R's. These are my 3 rules of selecting a mentor in every area of my life. So I hope that makes sense to you, Thakur. All I would say is the key is to meet more people, have conversations, ask questions, be open, learn different schools of thought, do some of your own research, do some of your own reading, do a trial and error till you find the right mentor. Don't give up in the process, right? It's a pursuit. You need to find those right mentors, and it's not easy to find those right mentors, but you need to keep exploring. That's the key. So with that, we come to the end of episode number 82 of Get Real with Rajiv. If you found value in this episode, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to click on the link below and register yourself for my upcoming Business Breakthrough Seminar. This is a 4-hour training that I do for entrepreneurs where I teach them a step-by-step system to build a business which can grow without them. This is my signature program, and if you are enjoying this entire Get Real with Rajiv series, there's no reason why you should not attend one of those Business Breakthrough seminars. So click on the link, register yourself if you're a business owner, and I look forward to seeing you at the Business Breakthrough Seminar.